You start.
You start.
No, I don't want to start.
You start.
You start.
You start.
Stop it. No.
You stop it. All right, rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. You start.
This is Solar.
This is Airica, Demia. And you are watching
The Three Count Podcast.
Yeah, when the sun goes down, i.e. Nick Dog.
By now, if you're hearing this intro, you know what that means. This is Now Entering 201, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And like every good Sherpa, which I like to think I am, this is our third season now of this show. We've had a lot of incredible guests come back, and this one is no exception. You can find this person at IGB. You can find this person at ROH. You can find them at Focus Pro. You can find them at Parlamento Championship Wrestling. You can find them all over, up and down the East Coast, everywhere from Maine to Florida, and all over. And just anywhere you look, they're always just around. They're always there doing something incredible. But you see them together right now, and they're here with us. So welcome, Solar and Airica, Demia.
All right, crowd sounds. Cheers. It's Palmetto.
It is Palmetto. I'm very sorry about that.
But when
That's what happens when you're not from that area.
I was
when you said it, I thought you were saying like pimento cheese.
Oh, I thought that's what you said too.
No,
And I was like, that's a new one.
You know what's crazy is that when you look at places in like Massachusetts too, like where I'm at, there are certain places they're spelled a certain way, but it's also not pronounced that way, and that's also what happens when you're not from the area. You don't know a town, and you're gonna get made fun about it. Sorry, y'all.
So, like for instance, I just said it wrong. Worcester is not Worcester. It's Worcester.
It's not even that. It's Worcester.
It's Worcester.
Worcester.
We're both wrong.
Yeah.
People that live there were telling me Worcester. So
no, I'm gonna tell you right now that if you are up here, anything that has an ER on it, ER, AR, IR, OR, or UR is now pronounced AH. So it's yeah.
Worcester.
not with a lisp.
I
not a lisp.
I just dustified that. Oh,
You dustified it.
Gloucester is another one. There's even a place it's spelled Peabody, Peabody, but it's pronounced PBD.
PBD?
That's why I tell them, just like, yo. But then also, I'm like when we talked originally, I told you guys like I'm from Nebraska, and we have a town in Nebraska it's spelled Kearney, and people pronounce it Kearney, right? And phonetically, that sounds right. It's pronounced Carney.
Carney.
So yeah,
we have one of those down here. It's spelled Cherryville, but everyone calls it
Cherville.
Cherville.
I'm like, what?
It's Cherryville, and when people call it that, I'm not the most southern person you're ever gonna meet, but it pisses me off.
I'm not the most southern person you ever gonna meet, but it pisses me off.
I don't sound like that unless I get angry.
You just did.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did.
It's funny because I live in like I said, I'm up here in Massachusetts now, and I get so many people who tell me that they're like, "Man, where are you from? You're not from around here." I was like, "No, where do you think I'm from?" They're like, "I don't know, like somewhere in the South." I was like, "I'm from Nebraska, bro." Like, I sound like I'm from the South.
You're like, nope, you're wrong.
Absolutely, you're not even in the right vicinity of like the country, bro. Like, you had a better shot of just throwing a dart at the center of the U.S. and hitting my hometown. Like, that's crazy. No, all right. So it's been what, almost 3 years since we've last been on the podcast all together. 2 years.
She just passed her 2-year anniversary, so it's somewhere in. It's probably closer to like a year and a half ish. Like, you really think about it, like it, because she just had her 2-year anniversary wrestleversary. January 21st. Did I get it right?
Yep.
Oh, that's crazy. I remember when I started January 4th of 2020. Wow. So I remember, and just the whole weird time, and everything. And then.
So you just passed your 5-year.
I did. I was very like, oh wow, I'm starting getting up in that age of the game, and I didn't realize that that's a thing.
Like later this month, I think on the 25th of February, I hit my 20 year of active competition.
Active competition.
Yeah.
That's a way you just
I
phrased
mean,
that.
because like I kind of have like different things. Like when I had my tryout, which is where I first bumped. That's like was in January of 03. So I don't really like that's a different kind of thing. And then I did reffing for about 2 years, and then in 05, I had my first official match. I had a couple like under the hood matches just watched by people. I think it was like 2 or 3, like throughout 2004, but I don't really count those because I mean, just it's just me getting squashed. um, no real character, but yeah, I count kind of February 25th of 2005 as my 20-year anniversary. So that's coming
He
up.
looks stressed about that.
Yeah.
Next year, he's like, "Oh man, my career in wrestling can actually drink legally."
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like sitting here going, yo, I need to hang it up. And Airica, on the other hand, she's mapping out this whole like lore thing, lore dump.
His name will be Solar the Silver, like Gandalf the Grey.
She told me, and I was like, we were walking through the airport, and of course my knee was hurting because I'm old. But she was like, she's like, you got to do something about that. So maybe you should trade out the sword for like a cane
when you're 60.
So you can manage me when you're 60. And I'm just sitting here like, you really think I'm going to be managing you at 60?
That's only 20 years.
I was like, whoa, I don't
I'll
get
be
a
40.
I was really like, I don't get a say in this.
No.
It's like
No.
It'd be cool though, like the father daughter team, and you're out here with the staff looking like
retiring.
He hates the Solar the Silver thing, and I think it's clever. So
That's
I'm getting it started somewhere.
I'm here with it though. I'm here, especially because like, I mean, you would look like a wizard, and who does not like wizards?
I could make you look like those frog wizards with the hats. I could get him a hat, the pointy hat, and then a robe.
I'm here for it. And then I mean,
I quit.
literally, what would be so cool though is you could have the sword, right, and you could have a staff, and then one of your.
You told me I trade the sword out for the staff.
No.
Which is also just a walking cane.
We keep them both, and what was
she saying? You're super old, Dad.
We keep them both, right? And one of your spots is like if you're protecting Airica, right? And a person comes running and you just hit the staff and the sword, you're like, "You shall not pass."
I already did that spot.
And then they bump.
I did that spot. I mean, they didn't bump, but I did that spot literally in January when she was against Shaza, because Shaza tried to cower, run out the ring, and I stood in front with the sword. And I turned the sword around and went, "Shall not pass," because I was like, "There's the Lord of the Rings quote for you."
But now you have a staff and a sword, and you can just
extra things for me to have to remember to carry with me.
Yeah, but
and extra things we have to get on the plane.
Yeah.
This is true. It's also true. Yo, so it's funny because I wanted to bring this up. I was actually talking to my daughter about this before we all got on, right? I had mentioned, so your video went viral again.
Oh, that one again? Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And I just remember, I remember commenting on your video, and I was like, "Hey, look, this is the video that led to this awesome friendship that we all have." And some dude wrote some comment, and I was like, and you were being so kind, Airica. You were just like, "No, but this is part of my job. These are things that happen." I was like, "Don't apologize to that guy. Fuck that dude." It's like nobody worries about their opinion. Like it was stressed out to try to please everybody. And I thought
a lot of strange people.
There's a lot of strange people.
I just reading some of those comments. I'm like, what are y'all talking? What are y'all talking about?
Some people are like, "How are you still alive?" I'm like, "I don't know. This was like 2 years ago."
I was like, "Are you good?" And I'm like,
I would hope so. This was 2 years ago.
Like almost 3 years ago. You were not wrestling when this video came out.
No.
And people are like, "Yo, how's your face?" And I'm like, "Why don't you look through my profile and see if my face is flat?"
Like, clearly she is good enough to be typing.
Yeah.
I've responded to a bunch of comments before yours saying that I'm fine. Just read.
No, so an aspect of things, like I wanted to hit on that topic too, but I was like, it's weird how in this age, like, like the dude was in the comment section, literally told me that he was like, you're a woman beater and a Muslim, and I was like, there's a lot to unpack there, like a lot. It's like a wild comment. I was like, and I'm addressing it here on the show.
I'm like, where does he get any of this from?
I was like,
Great
I don't know.
question.
I was like, that's crazy.
That's clearly not you in the video.
No, and I was like, that is wild. I was like, bro, thanks. I was like, I guess thanks for addressing me, and that's why I wrote. Like, I was like, whatever. I'm just gonna be an asshole back, and I was like, yeah, well, look who's the big guy coming to somebody's defense. I was like, fuck this dude. Like, I just didn't care. But no, I just thought because I remember like seeing you, and you were just trying to like keep it peaceful in the comment section. And I was like, Airica, you ain't gotta respond. Just let them do what they're gonna do. They're somewhere in their basement being pissed off at the world because they're not doing what you're doing, and that was like, there's no pleasing that. So I just wanted to reiterate that to you again. It's just like, yeah, you ain't gotta worry about them. But no, so let's talk about it. I want to get into some wrestling stuff and talk about some fun wrestling stuff because y'all's characters continue to grow and evolve and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we don't have to talk about where, but you had a promo that you guys were working on. How are you guys putting your guys' stuff together? Like, I don't understand. Like, I need to know that.
You start.
Well, I don't know where to start.
Just start. Just talk. Laugh. Do your thing. Don't look at me.
No, I actually don't know what.
Don't look at me. It's talking about like our process on like promos, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, usually the best promos we have an argument first.
That's not true.
That's we either have an argument or we're both asleep for majority of the day and then put all of our energy into it and go to bed.
Yeah.
And it usually takes at least 3 hours.
Yeah.
To film. Well, are really like good ones. Even if it's shorter, sometimes it takes a good bit of time because sometimes we cannot take each other seriously and I'll be laughing or he'll be laughing, and other times we just get really angry at each other and we're like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And then we yell, we have an argument, and then everything's fine. We do a great promo and it comes out better than we thought.
We toxically argue, and then one of us has enough, and then like I remember one time.
I'm usually the one apologizing.
I remember though one time, like she pissed me off on one promo that we did it was back in like, I think it was the Leah Knight promo. So like I had this thing, I was like, I want to sing a lullaby because her name's Leah Knight, and that just makes me think of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. So but I was like, hey, you need to come up with how we get to this. So she came up with like something, but I didn't like it. And then I think it took I came up with. So long for her to get ready or get an idea that I got fed up and just said, I was like, wait, what's the language thing for this?
Right, that's all. Okay.
MA. I was like, fuck it. You do your own promo, film it yourself. I don't care. I don't want to be part of this. Blah blah blah. So then she started coming up with her. She was like, "Oh no, I got to come up with a whole promo."
We were delirious by this point because it was like 3 a.m.
It was not quite 3. Yeah.
It was probably
this
1 or 2.
This was like 12 or 1. Then she came up with a thing, and she's like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, yeah, we can do that, but I'm gonna. You know what? I still want to do this. Because I got over being upset.
I came up with the I am the knight.
Yeah, she came up with this thing of being a knight, and I was like, well,
I am the knight, but like Batman. Because we have this dumb Batman beanie. I don't know where it is now, but it's somewhere.
Yeah, it was mine from like 10 years ago. 10, 15 years ago. She was like a little kid when I first got
I remembered it based off of a picture I saw of him on Facebook. And I was like, do we still have that? He's like, probably not. I'm like, I'm going to go look for it.
But anyways, like, I got fed up and was like, oh, yeah, okay, we'll do this. And then she was like, but I came up with this. And then we had a fight about that. And then I was like, well, why don't we just do both? And then deliriously, like at 2 to 3 a.m., we're filming this promo while my wife is sleeping, trying to get, she's like sleeping because she has to go to work the next day. And meanwhile, we're trying to film this promo where we're acting like children, essentially. Being goofy as hell, and we're delirious, and we're also at the
giggling
same time trying not to make like make too much noise to
so that we wouldn't wake her up. My room was a mess, so we just utilized that and threw like hoodies and stuff on top of his head.
Yeah, I think also we had like lighting or no, that was a different promo. No, yeah, because that was where I was like in the middle of the floor with the light on there, and I was just singing a lullaby. And you're just like, what are you doing?
You weren't singing a lullaby for anything other than.
Yeah, it was.
Uh-uh.
Yeah, it was.
What are you talking about?
For the Leah Knight promo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sang a lullaby. I didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
We didn't have clothes on before for this.
Y'all see the process. Y'all see the process.
Yeah,
this is the process. Except we usually yell at each other.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, we were delirious. It was goofy as hell. It ended up super goofy though. It turned out really good.
I was gonna say people loved it. We were like, really? The dumbest promo we've ever filmed is what gets the attention.
Oh yeah, of course. And the one we did yesterday was more of a heel promo for her. For Pro Wrestling Turbo, which I would say like it just took us a long time to get going because someone had to put makeup on.
I didn't feel good yesterday, and I still don't.
So she didn't get ready till like 7, and then it took us 3 hours to film a promo.
Your tooth was hurting, so
yeah. But anyways, but yeah, like it just took a lot of time. We did another one, like her first one for Pro Wrestling Turbo, though. That one came out really good, but I don't think that one took near as long.
No, because I already knew what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
It took me a while to come up with a script, but I did it a few days before.
Oh.
She says script. It's just her writing stuff in her journal.
I understand.
More or less.
It's funny for me because, like, even for my thought process of like doing promos, like I'll like look at I'll look at whatever like the promoter is like, hey, we want you to work face or heel, and you're gonna, this is the person you're gonna work. Like, all right, cool. So I just go look for somebody and look at what their stuff is, and then I'll just like quickly think about it in my head, and I'll just try to fire it off. But mine has like no real like I don't know. I throw a filter on there and then like maybe put some stuff inside, unless I'm like, and some of the promoters are gonna be pissed when I say this, unless I'm super motivated at 1:00 in the morning and I decide to cut a promo on somebody because I was pissed off at the whole day. Then I'll do that and then watch another person go off about it.
I mean, our biggest things. We always try to approach it with like, hey, let's not try to do exactly the same thing we did in whatever our last promo was. Whether that's, hey, we're doing a big story-driven skit promo, or hey, we're doing a traditional promo. Obviously, it's still zany and wacky, but it's a little more traditional of cutting the promo. Or B, we're doing something serious or realistic, like her. Like when she was getting booked, it was just her. Like her promo for getting booked was meant to be a little more edgy, a little more mean. And
for
like
what?
for you coming back from injury and being available for bookings. That was like where I think her whole the idea she had for that was just the feeling she has of being a performer and all the different things that she hears from different people, whether it's me, whether it's her trainers, whether it's promoters, whether it's fellow like wrestlers that she people that she trains with, or people she works with on shows. Different things that are thrown at her constantly, and like she feels the pressure of it constantly, and kind of like how it legit kind of like gives her anxiety sometimes because she feels
a lot of the time.
Yeah. She feels like she has to live up to so much, and it was a very different promo than her regular, anime or fun, happy-go-lucky stuff.
Yeah.
It was meant to be more serious and just, but with a little bit of like, not to say she's. It wasn't meant to be necessarily a heel promo, but it was meant to be like, hey,
a little bit more like, hey, I'm angry.
Hey, there's some menace behind me. There's some menace. There's some anger. Just because she plays.
I'm a menace, apparently.
Yeah, you're definitely a menace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was, we kind of shot it in a certain way. We had one originally, so like when she told me about this idea, and she was like, "Hey, I want to cut this where it's like almost like my monologue," and it starts getting jumbled together. So it's like thoughts when intrusive thoughts kind of hit you over and over again, and everything's kind of your head
Not
feels
only intrusive
loud.
thoughts, but anxiety.
Yeah, but your head's loud either way. She wanted that vibe, and so there was
like you're trying to go to sleep at 3 a.m. and your brain's like, "Hey, you remember that embarrassing thing you did 5 years ago?"
Yeah,
kind of like that.
And so like I was like, "Hey, how about this? I found a song. There's a song by the who was it? Who's it by? What's the song? What's there's an artist. The one song I based the like I strum it together like that, where they're saying words.
Oh, it's called Locals by the Underscores.
Yeah. It's not Locals.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You're right. I thought. But
One
yeah,
of my favorite
like
songs.
if you listen to like the way it starts and kind of when it picks up into the beat, and then you listen to it from, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's clearly like it starts off they're saying words, and then they start like overlapping each other. And I felt like, hey, that's how it feels like when you have anxiety, like
when you're anxious, and you're overthinking
things. And then we originally
trying to warm my mug.
Originally, when we talked about it, she had in mind she kind of wanted it to be like an above shot.
I wanted it up in my corner, like in the corner of my room, to get like kind of almost like a security cam, but like not obviously, but
pacing.
Me pacing back and forth, but
and we tried it, and it just did not work at all the way we like she envisioned it. I envisioned it too a certain way, and I was like, okay, this sounds cool. And then we did it, and I was like, this sucks. This doesn't work.
like we suck at this.
So then I was like, hey, how about we come at it from a different point of view? How about like we turn it from here and just kind of like film you like thinking really up close, and then we'll slow it down and we'll put like a white filter, like a black and white filter on it, and then we'll add like a ticking clocks, not ticking talks. Ticking clocks to it. And so instead of that was always going to be there, but it was going to be the one up top. But then when I was like, hey, why don't we pan around and then we just kind of get like we're going into your head and seeing how you feel since it's already your thoughts. And then I came out with it. I honestly, it's one of my favorite things like we've shot or filmed. Like,
agreed.
I was really happy with it because
I was very proud of it because
very different.
Yeah. It's different from what most people are doing, but it's also very different from anything I've done.
Yeah.
Well, so it goes back because it's funny. The week that we're recording this, like 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I think it was. Like I had a panic attack. So like, and the way you're describing it was 100% like how I remember waking up in the middle of the night just freaking out because I was like, yo, there's. This is happening, that's happening, it's going to lead to this, it's going to lead to that, and then you're going to go down this way, and then you're going to go down that way. And and I had just woken up, and I remember like 15 minutes of just hearing everything under the sun, just of the worst case scenarios were going to happen. And then finally, like, I grasped a hold of it, and I was like, yo, these are all just thoughts. Just relax. And I was like, get up out of the bed, go put some water in your face, slow down, think everything through, and then just go to bed. And it's crazy because the way you're describing it, I was like, I also wanted to shoot a promo that same kind of style, and I was like, man, it would just be finally to be like, you know what, like I don't know, because there's sometimes where I'm like, my character comes off like super goofy, and a lot of people want to book him like this goofy kind of funny, character, but there is a darker side to that character too.
There's always more.
Yeah, and I've always wanted to dig deeper into the layers, and I was like, man, that would be a perfect way to do something like that. And so hearing you do it, I was like, well, damn, now I don't want to do it. I gotta.
No, man, do it your own way.
Like, it don't mean you get, man. For one,
everybody thinks different.
Or it's a book me graphic, a book me video.
Essentially, a book me promo.
Hers was a hey, I'm not injured anymore. I can take bookings again.
That's right. You had your hand injury, right?
Yes,
finger.
Broke my finger.
Like a little.
Oh, ironically, the Brian Bayside match dropped 3 minutes ago, as of right now.
Nice.
I am so serious. I literally just opened it because I had a message and I was like, I'm gonna get rid of that. And that's what it was.
Because because we ran into each other. We met initially at the IGB, which is
Mhm.
crazy enough that we're actually
Yeah.
talking about
Yeah.
IGB. It's creamed out, right? Is that what's coming out?
Yes, I think.
I think
I think
that's.
Let me
so.
double
Yeah,
check.
yeah, it is.
Sorry,
I
Stan.
just
I'm
had
trying to
to.
help
Well,
promote
the
your
States
show.
one's sold out.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to help promote your show, and I'm over here. I'm like, I think it's called creamed out, but
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And we just started running into each other, and it was funny because like I was paying attention to you guys, and I saw that ACW was actually down in North Carolina, and so I know that you guys had worked with my trainer, Sickend,
Okay.
and and then it was just funny how like more of the circles like started closing together, and I was like, oh, it's family now. But yeah, thinking about going back to our point before we start talking promoting everybody else's shows,
Yeah.
yeah, think about just how much you can intake, like you can entangle your life into your character and just like play off of like scenarios that's happened. It's so crazy to me, just like
Mhm.
dynamic of how much you invest into pro wrestling, into your character side of pro wrestling.
Yeah, like I've been kind of doing the same thing for a couple years too, and she's kind of evolving her character a lot more right now. Like, cause she obviously still has the hero thing, but she's kind of doing the more heelish
Leaning
slash
further into the
the
like
anime.
the actual anime girl thing
Yeah,
rather than just the anime superhero part of
just the
it.
Deku. Rather than just being female Deku, she's leaning into all the like
Other anime tropes that
yeah,
anime what people think about when they think of an anime girl, that's what I'm leaning to.
yeah.
Kind of. Not the
Not
I don't want
every
to lean full into it cuz
it's like I say also it's just like what you feel comfortable with leaning into,
Yeah.
and also where what gets over, what gets you booked, what's what's something new for you to do. Because I mean I know for her she kind of wanted to do something that's not just always like not saying kid friendly, but something that's also like she's 20 now. She kind of has a different viewpoint than she did when she was 17 or 18 about life. I know I've watched her grow. I've watched her change, um, and kind of just allowing her more of her personality because she's a very. It's captured very well in our promos, no matter what. Of that, she's a very chaotic persona in real life. Like she's just very all over the place, and the way her character was before was like it was a little more tepid, which that's a part of her too. But she's also like this giant,
goofball.
yeah, she's a goofball. She's got this energy around her, and I was like, hey, you need to lean into that because that's who you really are. And and it's like you say that whole thing about people like kind of
Are you sweating?
no, not booking you as like that you wanting to do sometimes more serious stuff. You should just do it, man. Experiment. Like
Well, I the way I try to spin it,
the worst that can happen is they go, not going to book you.
yeah,
That's the worst. That's the worst thing that'll happen. But here's the thing: if you've been doing a certain thing and you don't want to get pigeonholed and you want to do more, expand it. Like for instance, like I play a very big character that's like some people have told me is too over the top.
Mm.
And I that's fine. It is a very over the top character, but I can play it less over the top. I can play it very serious. Uh, I want to, and sometimes I don't think people. I sometimes think people don't really like promoters don't watch everything we do because I've played it down. I've played
Yeah,
it to
he's
where
played it in a more serious manner that's not just the oh, I think I'm a knight and I have a talking sword.
yeah,
Like it's not just that.
I
He's
mean,
way deeper than
if
that.
you
But
watched, like, it was a silly scenario because they killed me at IGB. But if
Yeah.
you watch the first promo that we shot, it was just me. We were like doing like the whole point of the promo is we were doing like a little bit of Ghost, but a little bit of also like the Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
Of like I'm like Airica's walking through and I'm talking to her, but she doesn't hear me, and I'm trying to figure out why, and I'm legit just being like I'm doing my voice, but there's also it's less like instead of being, what do you mean, daughter? It's more like, why aren't you listening to me? You know, and it's a different text to it. You know, like a text, that's not the word, tone to it. And it's like, and also like there's gonna be some promos coming up where we also lean even further away from just like always being presenting me as like a um this this like this big super character, which I am, but also like you always got to evolve and try different things, and like that's what I'm doing. She's kind of actually like I'm trying to kind of humanize my character a little bit more, and she's kind of trying to
do the opposite.
Yeah, she's kind of she's going larger than life and becoming more of a character in a lot of promotions, babyface or heel.
I'm also leaning a lot more into like the what people consider cringe about the anime community, because even people who aren't part of the anime community are like, hey, that's interesting. Like, I hate to say it, but it's usually people who live in their mother's basement.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something a little meaner, but I was like, I'm gonna be nice about it.
Nah, my favorite thing was yesterday. Yesterday she put up some like, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was the day before. She put up we put up the like, be my simp thing of posts of just different like she took some like actual promo shots and also some like professional shots in some different outfits and stuff, and I was like, yo, we're going to make and like last year she did Be My Valentine's, or this time I was like, hey, we're putting Be My Simp, and we're gonna post this post, and then every time somebody like, and I hope nobody gets upset about this but it made me laugh. Every time somebody puts like heart eyes or some random thing, I was like, either we're going to reply with her newly made simp logo, which is totally based on the logo of the Love's truck stop.
It wasn't intentional. It just happened to look like that, and we were like, well,
that's what it is.
That's the Love's thing.
Yeah, that's what it is. Or she posts
a floating head now.
Or she posts a GIF. No, I'm about to.
Please don't. He's gonna kill me.
But we posted like GIFs with the simp thing.
Please, I'm comfortable.
As a response to every one of them, and like it was hilarious at how many we ended up like responding with that to them.
It was ridiculous.
Like there's like 70 comments in one.
The part of the post was saying, will you be my simp? And there was a lot of yes. Or, like, yes, I will. Or there was one I got that it was like, no, I won't, because
116 comments.
What was Jesus? What was it that the guy said?
I can't remember.
It's on Facebook.
I'm not.
He basically was like, I gotta get to know you to figure out if you're worth it. I'm like, well, if we get to know each other, you're not a simp. Yeah. Because a simp is one-sided and the other person does not care about the way you feel at all.
Don't give that away, you'll lose them. They can't know the secrets.
I mean, I'm not, like, people can easily look up the definition. Someone was like, do you mean this in a degrading way? I was like, it doesn't have to be. And he's like, but I looked it up and it's really degrading. I'm like, that's on you. I didn't tell you.
That's on you, bro. That's how you feel.
No way.
I always think about like when you're building your character up, and like I talked about this with Bo Douglas over in Massachusetts, and we were talking about building up characters and like bringing up depth and like, you know, becoming larger in life, or, you know, taking on that serious role. And I joked about it, talking about it's more of like a multiverse, right? And that's how I kind of wanted to start treating it. So like Red Dog has like his comedy style. He has like the serious Merc side of him. Then he also has like the, you know, what my friends in Maryland would call the West Coast Red Dog, which is just more of like this thuggish peel to him. So it's funny, but then like Bo brought it up, and he goes, but all those multiverse characters have to eventually lead to like Red Dog Prime, like the one, right? He's like, and that's gonna be you. That's gonna be the true character of who Red Dog is. And I was like, yeah, that's absolutely right. Like because I keep playing with the ideas of like, oh, what if he did this? What if he did that? What if he was like the sad Red Dog? What if he like did sad promos all the time where he wasn't like, he's like, oh, it'll never happen for me. I'll never get this. And I thought about all these things, these aspects of where Red Dog would be. And I came up with it, and eventually it all leads to just like the one. And I think that's what makes great characters, is like you have this genuine appeal to like your fans or to just yourself and then to other people, and then they gravitate towards that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm at now with my character building side is like, all right, what is the goal? What is the goal for Red Dog? What does he truly want to accomplish? Because if it's not championships, it has to be something that means way more.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's like, does he want to become like the all time legendary Merc? What is it that he's doing? So like, for me, I'm going through and like watching a lot of different videos and different movies and going through different media and just trying to find like, what is it that drives like every character to be wherever they are, and like, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, you know, clearly when you look at like the Dark Knight and you see like Joker, right? Well,
Yeah.
Heath Ledger's Joker. It wasn't about like, I want to be the greatest criminal of all time. He's just like, I just want the world to burn.
Yeah, that
And
was his.
he's kind of the exception, because if you look at everybody else, it's like, I want to be memorable. I want to be the guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thanos is a prime example of this. People will be like, nah, Thanos, he was just trying to get rid of half the universe. I was like, yeah, he wanted to be the champion. Like, he literally told you, I will fairly take out half the universe.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. It was. He has a motive, and some would say maybe the motive wasn't necessarily all bad, but his what makes him a villain isn't the fact that he kind of wished the movie interpretation. He wished well.
Yep.
He wished for a noble cause in a sense, but he just went about it in a really deranged, awful way.
Yep.
Took the easy way out.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah. And then Joker, Joker's like, here's the thing, you say that whole thing about he didn't want to be the main guy, but by being that such a character and being off the wall, he was the main guy.
Yeah.
He was the force of nature in that movie. Like for my character's never meant to be mine's, especially at this point, I'm a supporting player. That's all I'm good for. I'm a mentor character. It's fun. It's fine. Side quest. I'm on the side quests.
It's Yoda.
Yeah. Airica though, like, I'm not speaking for you, but we've already workshopped this a lot. But like her, like, yeah, she's trying to win gold. She's trying to get right now. She's trying to get recognition and wherever she goes, and like her biggest thing that she's seeking now. And that's why it's a play on the whole the anime cringy anime thing of the Notice Me Senpai. But
she's without the senpai.
But yeah, we're not using the senpai.
Cringe part of it.
But the senpai is.
I am the senpai.
But no, I mean, I wouldn't say that. Like, I think the senpai right now is, hey, promotions, notice me, book me, put me against your best, well, yeah. I'm trying to explain though. Help explain your character.
Okay.
Stop making jokes about everything.
No, that's
no, but like, I think that's what this is actually how she really feels. About a lot of places of like, hey, I've been here for this long. She's young in the game, and yeah, she's gotten a lot of opportunities. But
technically speaking, I'm young as far as how long I've been working on shows, but I've been training and I've been around it. I've been around it my whole life, right. But I've been training for 6 years at this point.
And
I've been around to shows, been traveling for that long.
Yeah, she just wants to be seen, essentially, so she can be put in those top spots, whether she's the champion or she's the person facing the champion. And maybe you can put the company on her back. Maybe you can give her that spot. Maybe you can give her, or if you don't want to give her that, give her a great storyline. Give her something really compelling so she can like show, because she wants to get signed.
I'm a good actor, and I will take any opportunity I can to show that. That's why I cut the promos the way I do. That's why I don't always do the silly ones, because like, I can cry on command. I don't know a lot of people that can do that. They're like, how do you do that? I'm like, I don't know. I just can. Like, I can. If you need me to, not like right this second. No. I have cold medicine in my system. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen right now. But
yeah,
on a show, I 100% can do that. Also, sometimes it just happens anyways, because I will just have a moment where I feel like my character is overcome with an emotion, and it just starts happening. And I'm like, wait, why am I crying? Hold on, this was not the plan.
Yo, back this down.
And it's like like everybody talks about catchphrases, and I was like, hey, if when we talked about and we kind of came up with the notice me thing, I was like, hey, this is not just a catchphrase. This is actually how you feel about things and how. And yeah, we're making it into a catchphrase, and yeah, we're making it into a mantra for the character, because it's also just saying, hey, I'm the best.
Okay, hold on. I'm not the best.
Well,
but I work my tail off.
You have.
But you gotta have that mindset, though.
It's like Deku is striving always to be the best. You are striving to be the best.
Exactly.
But the thing is, okay. But even when you watch, okay, so we can use My Hero Academia for that, right? And I love that we're having this kind of open conversation about it. But if you listen to the opening part of like My Hero Academia, Deku never talks about, oh, hey, this is how I tried to be number one. He literally tells you, he's like, this is the story about how I became the best, the best hero. Yeah. So it's, you already know the outcome of the story. So like, I think about it too, where like even Red Dog, like I have this idea where it's like, yo, he wants to be the top merc. Like he wants to be the best. Like he wants you to know that he's the best. He's gonna find ways to let you know he's the best. And so I 100% agree with you. I'm gonna call you Solar, even though I know, but I 100% agree. Like I 100% agree. It's just like, yeah, you gotta have to be your own. Like you have to be your own fan. Like you have to let people know, like, hey, like I'm going to be the best. I am the best, and this is why. And you know, even for like I said, even for me, like I think about that constantly, where I like continuing to develop the world around Red Dog and how he's gonna showcase this. And I thought, you know, I remember like the style of promo that I did one time, and I think about bringing it back. I was playing the whole world of Blue's Clues. Where like, so for those who don't know, all right, if you haven't seen the show enough, I had my dog Duke for 13 years. He passed away from cancer, so I had him made into a cartoon character, and like he's on my cartoons like every so often. Like I'll just put him in random places, and yeah, and I've been thinking about like, yo, I love that aspect because the characters together I had was inspired from I Am Legend, where like you see like Will Smith and then like his dog next to him in the whole video in the movie. And I thought about that. I was like, well, it'd be cool if we have Red Dog like walking in, you know, myself, and then just having like Red Dog or Duke just next to me the whole time. And I thought about these kind of promos where it's like, I walk on this road, this is my dog, and we handle business. And I've thought about this the whole time where I'm like, he's my motivator, he's my drive. Like this man who lived like a happy life, and I was like, I'm going to just destroy everybody because I'm lonely without this dog. Like that's kind of his motive, like death and destruction and mayhem and whatever it may be. But he's gonna let you know he's the best because this is what motivated him. Like the John Wick thing.
I was gonna say like the John Wick. I was trying to think of his name. I was like, what the frick is this guy's name? I know the person with the dog. I can't remember his name. John Wick. That's exactly what I was about to bring up.
I mean, I'd just use that honestly right
I have
there.
no idea about anything
John
else
Wick.
revolving around John Wick. I just know that he loves his dog.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
I have not.
Like I've seen, I think I've only watched the first one all the way
I feel
through.
like I'm going to get ridiculed for not
I think I've only watched the first one all the way through because the first one
not by you, but by people on the internet.
Had the dog, and then the scene where the dog gets, you know, and then the revenge story from that.
The revenge.
Well, it's because so not to ruin it but the dog is significant because that was the last thing his wife gave him before she passed away. You find that out in like the first 5 minutes of the movie. So spoilers for those who didn't know. But if you didn't watch John Wick, tough break.
If you didn't watch it by now, you probably weren't going to.
That's why I feel like the first one's the best one because like that's the most humanizing thing.
Yeah.
Of that happening, of what happens with the wife, and then when what happens to the dog happens, you're like, oh yeah. I would do the same thing. I'd kill.
Yeah, he has every right to.
I will kill these people.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why I love that aspect of not that I was, but John Leguizamo has like a significant role in that first movie. And then he's like, "Oh, you messed up the dog." Oh yeah, and he just cold clocks the dude, and I was like, Yeah, you had that coming,
Yeah.
bro. You have way worse
Yeah.
coming to you.
Don't mess with the dogs, bro. You don't
But
mess with animals,
Yeah,
man.
don't mess with animals. Why are
yeah,
you
I
Don't
think
mess
I
with
think
animals.
about it. I think about like what's really driving like Red Dog, and so I like that aspect of thinking about the growth of how your character is going to be, play more into the cringe side and doing the heel things. Like I like it's funny because I've watched your character kind of start off as like this like very bubbly, outgoing kind of like Deku, but then like I've seen the other sides of coming, and I'm like, man, this is going to be amazing to watch this run all of a sudden happen where Airica flips and it's like, that's it. I'm destroying everybody.
Uh,
See,
it's been fun.
it's also kind of growing with not just my age, but the way that my emotions are, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like, I didn't go through much of an angsty teenage phase, so I feel like I'm kind of going through it now. There's a lot of things I missed out on in high school because of wrestling, and I'm feeling it now. And I was hoping I was just gonna get to skip it, but life said no. Everybody's got to go through it at one point.
You're so dramatic.
Nah, it's funny how
I've not
does that
talked
too.
about that a lot lately. I think it's funny, but I've told a few people about it. They're like, "That's hilarious," and so true.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she definitely is driving me nuts. Okay.
Oh, I've gone through that whole loop. I've done it numerous times. And the funny part about it, Erica, is like it hits you in different phases of life, different ways. So I've done the high school thing, college, the military, being a parent. Like, that loop just happens, and then you just find new ways to handle your problems, and then I think it's important though, like mental health game, like it's something that people don't really talk a lot about too,
Yeah.
and especially in wrestling, which is kind of weird because like everybody's such a big advocate, especially rest in peace to Daphne. But I remember like
Yeah.
watching her whole, like just watching her world shatter around her on IG, and just like putting out her last IG
I still can't.
live.
I've watched it. She's never seen it. I never wish anybody to see it. That was one of the toughest watches.
Yeah,
I couldn't finish it because it was just like it just was sad. You to say that it is kind of funny when you bring up mental health because like when I started up in wrestling, um, my first like when I came into wrestling, I was a very sheltered kid. I was the only child, and I was raised by a TV and video games and the internet. Um, because my parents were both had jobs, so they were just gone a lot. So like a lot of social cues I didn't necessarily pick up on. When I got into wrestling, there was a lot of things that was like beat into me a little bit about, hey, you got to be a tough guy. Wrestlers don't cry, and meanwhile, like me being a young 20-something-year-old kid,
19.
well, I was 19, but like I kind of say 19 to 23, I'd say like where a lot of times of being hazed. A lot of like wrestlers were still very much like there's a lot of hazing. There was a lot of like pranks and a lot of like super negative things that they would do to like rib you, and it's a lot of times they go too far. But also not only that, like um, one of the just so many weird things that you go through in wrestling and you're not supposed to talk about. I remember this. So like the first girl I ever crushed and fell for, I dated for a short time, and she was like a part of the wrestling thing. So then after it got awkward, we split up. She still trained, and I had to train with her, and I had to keep it like no, I had to keep it like to myself. Meanwhile, like all the you think as a 20-year-old, all these things are like they're not that big of a deal, but at the time they feel huge.
yeah.
And so then you're like mentally um you can't talk to anybody about it because your boys are just like, get over it, just go find another girl. And then
Yeah.
pardon my French, Erica, but they like pardon what I'm about to say, but literally they'd be like, go find some other hoe and go fuck her. Like that's the mentality that they would give you. Hey, fuck somebody
I'm
else
glad times are different now.
to get past this thing. And me, I
They're
wasn't
really not.
I mean, but I wasn't. I mean,
It's not as open.
yeah,
Right.
it's definitely not. But like it was a man's man thing, and but I wasn't that kind of guy anyway. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I had to keep it to myself. I'd like literally feel alone, like I had no friends, and I have mental breakdowns all the time before I started wrestling. When I
Yeah.
was like, and there were so many things that you couldn't talk about then. But now, like you say that it's not enough people talk about it, I still think it's a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Like so much better. Like I feel like you can actually confide with people, different people about, oh yeah, I feel awful about this. You know?
To an extent.
You can more than I could then.
That's fair.
I do.
And
So
I
it's
usually
funny,
confide in strangers more.
it's funny because like I write on my wrist tape. So when I put my tape on my gloves, I'll write like hashtag. So obviously because of Daphne, right? We have tag me in, hashtag tag me in. So I write that on one glove and I write I got your six on the other, which is based one's on military, one's based off of wrestling, the other one's on military. And I think about that all the time. Every time I write it, I think to myself, man, I was like, I'm so glad that like I've surrounded myself around people that I can just confide in whenever I'm having issues. And even sometimes, I'll be fair, some of my friends fuck with me really hardcore, and I'm glad they do because there's
yeah,
some things that I just need to kind of be heard. Like I'll go to a friend, hey man, if I came in, I need to talk to you real quick. He's like, I don't want to talk to you at all, and then they'll just hang up the phone, and I'm like, okay. Then they'll call me back. I'm like, what do you want to talk about? Like, all right, I appreciate this. So I was like, let's. So I think about those things. But the other part that I think is really kind of scary too is that like you have to trust the system that you put in place,
yep.
right? Like, like I was saying earlier, I had a massive panic attack, and it was work leading into home life, leading back into work life, working back into home life, and I was getting to the point where I just wasn't talking to nobody, and I was just stuff was building up, and finally I just everything exploded, and I was like, I'm not good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes like you have to trust the systems that you put in place, and you have to talk to people because like otherwise, if you don't, man, like everything shuts down around you, and then
Yeah.
you just hate life, and
Yeah.
it's not good for anybody. Like it's just not fun. So I think about I wish that more people would understand that like, hey, if you have your friends, like trust your friends because they're going to be there to have your back,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they'll fuck with you, but they're there because they care about you. And I
Yeah.
think about a lot of that too. So I'm like, man, I just, you know,
I'll say this: it's definitely a better. It's better now, but there's always room for improvement because
yeah,
with like seeing some of the stuff she goes through. And she's got me. I didn't have that. I didn't have my parents were in that way because they just didn't understand. I didn't have anybody to share that until I met my wife, even, really to share it. Like I had a couple friends, but, it was still different. And then you see so many people as time goes on, you have people that you're super close to, and then you grow apart, and then it falls apart, and then you don't talk to them anymore. And then, like, now, like even then I try to be there for her as much as I can because it's like she's like doing so much more with it than even I did, that it's even lonelier. And like it's such a lonely business. Like you have a lot of associates, but I'd still say you have very few real lifelong friends.
100%.
um, you have a lot of people that might like you. You have a lot of people that might respect you, but have a lot of people that might hate you. And then you have a lot of people that are like, hey, we're cool on this night, but then I'm not going to see you for 6 more months, and I'm going to forget about you until the next time I see you. And that gets lonely.
It
And
does.
that gets really, it messes with your head. I think
Well, certainly messes with mine.
it messes with your confidence. It messes with, like, you just don't know. And so like more people need to talk about this stuff, and more people need to just,
For how sensitive wrestlers are, we really don't talk about it a lot.
oh no,
We don't. We really don't.
here's the thing.
It goes back to
We act like tough guys. Like even like I said, when I came up, everybody was acting like a tough guy, and it's a little less now, but we still do kind of try to put on that front of we're tough because we beat ourselves up, which we are.
We might be physically tough, but emotionally,
oh
nah,
man,
not
wrestlers are the biggest. I'm pardon my French again. Pussies. We are the biggest pussies ever. Like everybody is super sensitive when it comes to that emotional thing. And truth be told, we just all need to talk about it more and be like, hey, yeah, this sucked.
Just
Yeah.
like we're taught to communicate in ring, we need to communicate outside of it too.
It's
Yep.
funny because there's this beautiful song written by Tech Nine and Kendrick Lamar called "Fragile,"
Yeah.
and Tech Nine talks about how, as an artist, like, we're sensitive about the stuff that we do. So
Yep.
it's like, if you don't have anything nice, like constructive criticism, right? If you're just criticizing to criticize, and you don't have anything like critique wise to like help build up what you think is wrong with something, then
Yeah.
just shut up. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
might
Absolutely.
find out that your jaw is broken because you choose to say some stupid shit. And I think about that a lot. Wrestlers are definitely we're our biggest critics, man. Where we hate everything that we do. We talk trash about. We're like, oh well, I could have done this better versus that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's where so it's funny because we're also so masochistic where we just want to destroy our own stuff. Like I'll have a match where I think a match looks really good, right? And then
Mhm.
I'll go through and critique it, and I'll make myself hate that match, or I'll send it to a friend and I'll say, "Make me hate this match," and then they send it back to me, and then a match that 30 minutes ago I thought, "Oh man, this was it." I'm like, "This is the worst match I've ever had in my entire life, and I'm just gonna burn my boots because this place sucks."
Yeah. Like,
I don't do that. I don't tell people to make me hate a match.
yeah.
I'll do it myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, don't worry, I got this.
I was like, I can do that. I don't need help with that one.
You can do this all day.
I can do this all day. Every match I've ever had, I'll go back and I'll hate it. Especially for my early career. Jesus.
Yeah. I also think, but I like to say this, like, here's the funny thing. I'll get so mad because, like, I'll say, like, give her some critiques that I think are going to improve her, and it just, like, shatters her. And then, meanwhile, this other guy comes along, and he's way meaner and way more, like, and she's like, okay, yeah, all right, thank you. And I'm just like,
it's because you're my dad.
yeah, I know, but I'm aware of that, too. It's because I'm her dad. It's different.
It took him a long time to get used to that.
And I'm trying to, like, I'm trying to be, I try to, like, give her. I'll tell her, yeah, this and this needs to fix. But I always try to, like, be like, hey, it still isn't.
Yo,
it still is
this
good.
specific thing that you did was really good. Keep doing that. But this thing, don't ever do that again. That was terrible.
That's true. Be like, but overall, you're good.
Overall, it was a good match. Though I'm like, are you sure? Are you lying to me right now?
I don't really feel like
sure it was good. Like, oh, you could have done better.
Oh man, I remember. So she came back. She had a match like when she won the Hooligan Championship Wrestling title, and like I was out there for that match, but we didn't watch it till like a little bit later, and I was like, it came out pretty good, And then when we rewatched it, there was a lot of things. Like I knew in the moment that there was a lot of things that was not like textbook good. Like she held back on, or she was clearly
worried about my finger.
She was worried about her finger because she was coming back from injury. Yeah, and
I only trained two times before
and I
that.
tried to really do a good job of this. Like, hey, it was pretty solid effort for the fact that you were totally hesitating and had no wind. Like there's these little things that she did that I was like, yeah, you wouldn't have done that 6 months ago, but it's cool because you're literally coming back from it,
not
like,
wrestling for a month.
You think it's not that long, but it feels so. You just like,
and it shows in work too.
Shows in work, and then as soon as you're not doing it, it feels like everybody else is just leaving you in the dust.
Yeah.
And it's hard. Like for someone like her, it's really hard. And I think just now, like I think last week, I think she just got back to like, I think the confidence that she had pre-injury on most things.
Yeah.
She's had like 3 or 4 matches, 5 matches since then. So she's
been that many.
Yeah, you gotta think Hooligan. Then you had the next week you had PCW, and then Pro Wrestling Action. That's 3. Then you had that random show in Alabama that was.
That's
that's fun.
5.
Yeah, and then you had the one you had last weekend. So yeah, 5 matches.
Which was the cold medicine is not helping me today. Oh my Jesus.
Which was
Don't worry about it.
Viral?
Viral.
Viral. Yeah. I defended my.
Love how she's like, let me grab this title for you.
Just grab this one.
So all my championship gold.
Hey man, I gotta promote.
Hey,
You do.
I mean, you have the cream poster right behind you.
Green poster.
That is the show where I won the Super Championship. Sue Whooper Championship.
Sue Whooper Championship.
As long as my face is on it, it's Sue Whooper.
Yeah. Don't listen to whatever Stan says.
Don't listen to Stan. Don't listen to Abs. Don't listen to anybody else in the CWO.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nobody from the CWO.
And
then this is our newest one.
Hey, who again?
Yeah, it's really cool.
I like
sometimes you just gotta take your belts and do the Tuscan Raider. I know.
Okay.
It's funny though.
I wasn't flipping it.
I just worked. I worked Abs last year for the first time.
Yeah.
And him and I have been talking about that for so long that we've been wanting to work a match, and I have actually been able to. So outside of the CWO, they had like the Genesis group. He has a Genesis group, and I've worked everybody in that faction except 2 people, which I hope to change that this year. But it's just funny to see that I've had interactions with like all of them at some point in time. And we joke about it all the time. And so Abs was like, "Yo, bro, like one day, man, I can't wait to work." And I was like, "Bro, one day I just can't wait to punch you while you're wearing your CWO shirt, bro." I'm just
right.
That's funny.
I was like, "Yeah, bastard." Hey, so I want to take this over. So normally, when we had you guys on each individually, right, we had the 10 count questions. For this game, though, we play what's called pin, submit, and DQ. So we're gonna fire off 3 sets of names, and you can pin one, submit one, and DQ one.
Okay.
So
it's like the Kiss Marry Kill game.
Yeah. Exactly. So
interesting.
Yep.
Yes, I did. I heard all of it.
So
He's looking at his phone. I wasn't sure.
Oh, bet. Well, the first 3 names that we're gonna choose Yu-Gi-Oh, right? You can take Yu-Gi-Oh. It's 1. Ash Ketchum.
Oh wait, hold on.
I don't know anything about Yu-Gi-Oh. Is Ash Ketchum the main
for
dude?
Pokemon. For Pokemon, yep.
Okay.
Ash Ketchum is main one for Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know why. I know who Ash Ketchum is.
Yep. And then the last one is Sailor Moon.
So wait, okay. What's the questions again?
So you got pin 1, submit 1, and DQ 1.
Okay. So for me, or you want to go first?
You go first.
Okay, cool.
No idea.
All right. Submit DQ. I don't want to harm Sailor Moon, so I will DQ myself because of Sailor Moon. Because she's sweet.
She's annoying as frick, like me, bro.
She turns into a tennis ball. Peak anime right there. You can't.
Moving on.
Actually, Ash Ketchum. Pin him because he's all right, and then this sounds so bad out of context. Yu-Gi-Oh, yeah, submit him because Yu-Gi-Oh is a bitch.
Damn, bro.
I hate that card game.
Tennis ball.
Yeah,
I got you.
That's my happiness folder on my phone.
Peak anime.
Oh, this is the next thing over.
Nice.
You're welcome for that. Anyways.
All right, now you got to answer.
So, I don't know. DQ Yu-Gi-Oh.
DQ?
No, I just noted. DQ Yu-Gi-Oh. Pin Sailor Moon, submit Ash.
I got you. I like it. All right, so the next one.
Anything about Yu-Gi-Oh? Obviously, if I called him Yu-Gi-Oh.
All right, so the next one.
I'll tell you something about Yu-Gi-Oh.
What's funny because somebody out there's gonna be like, someone out there's gonna be like, it's an entire cartoon. Okay, we're not talking about the main character.
It's
I'm like,
also a
bro,
video
I don't
game.
care. I just want
It's a video game first. It was a card game first.
It's a
Then
card
video game.
Then a
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah.
And then he became.
And I don't want to talk about main characters, so I don't care. I'll give me weak Seiko if you want to put someone in there, but they'll be like, it's Seiko. I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Anyway.
I wouldn't have known who you were talking about.
So the next three that we're going to talk about that you got to pin, submit, DQ, right?
Mm-hmm.
Very familiar names, all of them. Abs, Stan Styles, Marcus Angel.
Oh God!
Oh boy!
Can I just kill them all?
I will smite thee.
Stab, stab, stab.
My eardrum.
That's my answer. Stab them all. Not. Yeah.
I like it.
Like, cut their heads off. Stab them in the heart. Cut their heads off, and then roast them over an open fire. Yes.
Sounds like a beautiful dinner.
Yes, it is. Anyways, your turn.
I hope nobody takes this out of context. Submit Stan.
Take it out of context.
DQ Mark Angel. Pin Abs. Because the reason I choose that is because I haven't wrestled Mark Angel yet. I feel like it's a safe option. With Stan, I want to break his arm or something. I don't know.
Wow.
And Abs, he's easy to beat. I've done it already.
I've done it too.
Damn, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that hasn't. Well, I got stabbed. I got stabbed in the eye by Stan. So that's what happened. He had his whipped cream out. He stabbed me in the eye.
Stabbed you with whipped cream or the can?
How do you stab?
In the can. In the can.
I'm just picturing whipped cream.
Sharp whipped cream.
Really
so you take an ice mold in the shape of a knife. You put whipped cream in it. You go freeze it. Stab. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks for
the idea.
That was convoluted.
If Stan comes up with this in a few shows or something, we'll know where he got it.
100%. 100%.
Frozen
All right.
cream.
No.
Ooh, no.
And the last ones I want to do, right?
Okay.
We're gonna go with Liam Neeson. We're gonna go with Steven Seagal, old name, people can look it up, and we're gonna go with Chris Evans.
I actually know all those names, and I'm really proud of myself for it. Wait, hold on. Actually, let me double check on that second one.
Steven Seagal. I don't think you've seen him.
I don't think so either, actually.
So I will pin Chris Evans because he is Captain America.
Yep.
Forever. Also, I will submit. I will submit Steven Seagal because I've never been a fan of his movies.
That's valid. I don't see anything.
Liam Neeson.
They all look the same. Scrolling through,
Liam Neeson is Qui-Gon Jinn. Therefore, I just want to DQ him because he's been through enough.
He's been through enough. I mean, enough has been through him too, right? I mean, just
exactly.
Yeah. I second that.
Oh, she just copied the answers off my test sheet.
It's not a test sheet.
Yeah, whatever.
Make it a little different.
It is a survey.
Okay.
Not a test sheet. You can't cheat on a survey.
Survey.
Bet. Well, listen, I loved having you guys on again. It's always fun to be able to catch up with you guys and talk with y'all. But what I need you guys to do is let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
All right, hold on. We gotta find. On Instagram, I am known as the Legend of Solar. Just one word. On Twitter, I am under the name of. Hold on.
This is my Instagram.
Legend of Solar at Legend of Solar. I'm gonna look at hers too because
I got it.
Yeah.
This is my X handle, Airica Demia.
I said Twitter. Yeah, at Airica_Demia.
Facebook, no guarantee I will accept your friend request because I have over 1,000 and I don't like looking through it. But it's there.
And on Instagram, it's my Insta_Airica Demia.
And I have a TikTok.
My TikTok_Airica Demia.
Yeah.
YouTube is Your Hero Airica Demia.
Show them yours, not mine.
I'm not. I'm just. I mean, I'm just saying that because I don't really use mine anymore. Um, my YouTube just has all my old matches that I don't want people to watch.
If you need more time, just go back and pause it and screenshot it, and there you
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You pause.
You
Go
have.
back
Wait,
and
wait, wait,
pause
wait, wait.
it.
More
Oh.
importantly,
Oh, I have a Patreon.
yeah, that's way more important than any of these things.
It makes me money. So
Yeah.
this is. Hold on, my face is there.
What's the name of the Patreon? Your Hero Academia?
It is. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, look at the page. Go back down.
It.
I think it's Your Hero Academia.
Your hero, Airacademia's Fortress of Solitude.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just Your Hero Academia.
Ooh, my phone is at 24%.
That is not good.
I got a charger.
Brother. Oh no.
Oh no. Anyways, let's plug that now.
Well,
I think that's everything. Yeah.
yeah. We got it all. So, they gave you their handles. They told you where you can find them. And like every great part of a wrestling match, we got to take this home. Because this is Now Entering 201. And I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller. The man that leads you up that magical wrestling. But it's never about me. It's about who's entering the ring. And you see them right there. Solar and Airica. So you know what that means. Tune in to the next episode. Or you're legitimate followers on all of our social media platforms. You're checking us out on YouTube. You're subscribed to our YouTube channel. You're watching us on Amazon Music or Spotify, or you even listen to us on that dumb app with the stupid jingle that goes iHeartRadio or whatever it is. You're checking out our merch on foryourwear.com. You're even picking up our merch on ProWrestlingTees.com. You're telling your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your best friends, and your enemies because we love haters too. You're doing all that stuff, or really you're just waiting for this episode and you're waiting for that outro. And then you're listening to another episode with us. Kawaii.
Woo woo.
What's up? It is your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, and thank you for checking out this episode of the 3 Count Podcast. Whether that was Chaz friends, Red Dog friends, Demia friends, the Film Slouch, Now Into the Ring, Now Entering 201, or Now Returning to the Ring, all those good episodes, you should really be liking, commenting, and even sharing this with your friends, family, whoever it may be. But what you all should be doing is checking us out on all of our social media platforms at 3 Count Pod, whether that's on IG, Twitch, you can check us out on Threads, whatever it may be. And if you go check us out on X, it is 3count_pod. Check us out on YouTube, as well as Facebook, on Rumble, on Apple Music, on Spotify, all those fun things. Tell your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and your best friends and your enemies, because we love haters too. Do all that stuff, and then, last but not least, buy our merch on foryourwear.com or ProWrestlingTees.com. Kawaii.